hoping for that.
I'll twist it some way, Jenny. I'll make it fit.
Awesome.
All right. Oh, we're still gathering here a little bit. We're setting up another table. We've got that many people in person. Can you guys see? It's tons.
Oh my goodness. Wow. We missed out on this one.
That's good. That's good.
I didn't get a recording in session sound. I'm pretty sure I'm recording, but okay.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it come on.
All right, well, for folks in the room, if we can get seated. All right, so good evening, everyone. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to our September 21st Toastmasters meeting for the Queen City Toastmasters. I am the Sergeant at Arms, Jamie Richardson, and I now call this meeting to order. September 21st, 1981, so 40 years ago today, Sandra Day O'Connor was confirmed by the Senate as the first woman on the Supreme Court. So I picked that event from today because as I thought about our theme of balance, I couldn't think of a better example of looking at one of our premier institutions that then looked to seek more balance so that its membership represented the citizens that it serves. I also found it interesting that Sandra Day O'Connor, Justice O'Connor, was confirmed unanimously 99-0 by the Senate, which I'm not sure will ever happen again. So with that, I'll turn it over to our president, David Jones, to preside over the meeting.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm David Jones. I'm the president of Queen City. And just to let everybody know, we are having internet problems. It's been coming in and out. So hopefully we'll have a good meeting. If not, we'll figure it out as we go along. And I want to start by introducing our guests. We have a lot of guests in person. So if you watch the club view, I'm going to go around and talk to people and see where they're from and who they are and all that good stuff. So if y'all want to pass this around, just introduce yourself and say how you heard about Toastmasters and what you intend to do with it. Yeah.
All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, my name is Casey Cassie. I heard about Toastmasters from my boss, actually. Engineer turned sales. We're having a beer one day. He told me Toastmasters is how he was able to, come over this sphere, and just watching how he's able to command a room of so many people. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. A little bit by myself. Amit and I live together. We live right in Noda. We're like 8 minutes away. So great spot for us.
My name is Amit. Nice to meet everyone here. I heard about Toastmasters, I think, when I was first in Caterpillar in Peoria, Illinois. So joined there for a little bit, but my roommate just mentioned that they have one over here. So now I'm here. Hope to really just be able to get better at presentations. I also work in HR, so I have a lot of difficult conversations. So just improving conversation and improving my communication is something I always want to do. So, yep.
Yeah. Hey, my name is Eric. And if I look familiar, it's because I was on last week and I decided to come in person. I heard about Toastmasters maybe about a year ago. And like everybody who wanted to improve my public speaking, my leadership skills, was totally blown away by the format, the structure, and just the people involved, and really enjoyed sitting in on this meeting on Zoom. So I thought I'd come and check it out today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, sir. Hi, my name's Connor. Similar to Casey, my boss told me about it, and trying to overcome a fear of public speaking as well, and mumbling, and trying to improve upon that, and look forward to meeting everybody here.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And it looks like we have one guest online. Well, James, I think you were here before. Have you been here before, but you're a guest?
Yeah. I've been here before as a guest. I'm a returning guest. I'm a part of the Windstream family with CJ Barnhart. And
Okay.
yeah, just liking the meeting so far. So looking forward to another one. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to I hope she's not frozen, or maybe we're frozen, to our Toastmaster of the night, Jenny. Are you there?
Okay, yeah, am I frozen
Okay.
or not? Am I
You're
good?
yeah, we're good. So I will,
Okay.
Jenny is our Toastmaster tonight, so go ahead and take it away, Jenny.
Great, thank you, David, fellow Toastmaster. So I'm excited to lead today's meeting. I chose the theme of balance. I think it's something that I think we all struggle with, and I know I do daily. Some of the past themes that we've talked about around cruising and end of summer, we all, I think, agree that the summer season tends to not be as crazy busy, and I'm already kind of feeling it with work priorities and things happening as we're entering into fall, that it's been a struggle for me to try to balance my personal life with my work life. And just in the traditional sense, what work-life balance, in terms of what the dictionary says, right? It really describes the relationship between your work and the commitments in the rest of your life and how they impact one another. Put simply, it's about finding peace and balance between the demands of work and those of personal fulfillment and a happier life. And I think there's a plot twist here. So I've thought about this a lot, and I've heard this concept said before, and why don't we shift this way of thinking? And how about we say work-life balance is not really a separation of the two, but how do we integrate it better? There's all the quotes you shared, but there's a quote that I read that I think really resonated with me. And it says, there's no such thing as work-life balance. It is all life. The balance has to be within you. And with that, I wanted to ask just the audience or anybody on Zoom what their thoughts were on that kind of philosophy or way of thinking, and or just some tips that maybe somebody has on how they've learned how to manage like all the various facets of things in our life as it relates to work and career and personal. So if anybody has any thoughts that they want to share on the topic, I'd love to hear.
Well, I love the quote and the mentality behind it. It's kind of like happiness is not a place, right? Happiness exists from within.
Yeah.
And so the balance has to start from within, right? And I like the word that you use is integrate, because a lot of times we pile a lot of things on ourselves when it comes to work, well, me personally, I'm that type where, if I have the opportunity to, partake in a particular project or program, I'm all for it, right? I'm an eager beaver, but I tend to bite off a little bit sometimes more than I can chew. So that's where the whole work-life balance comes into play. And really it's just about picking and choosing the important things, the things that are really heavy, as far as that needs to be done now. And just keeping in mind the bigger picture of your happiness, whether it be your family or just yourself.
Yeah, I love that, James. That's a really good point, and it is really much around mindset, and you have control and the ability of balancing all the various things in your life. Does anybody have any other thought process or theme around balance? I think somebody's standing up.
We got Cameron here. He's going to go ahead.
Perfect.
Well, I like the theme, so thank you for sharing it. And I recently saw an interview with Jeff Bezos. Everybody knows Jeff Bezos with Amazon, but he was asked about work-life balance, and he said he hates that phrase. It's actually a debilitating phrase because it actually makes you think that there's a trade-off, like you got to choose one or the other. Instead, he chooses the phrase work-life harmony. Says it's all a circle, actually, that if you're happy at work, you'll be happy at home. If you're happy at home, you'll be happy at work. And that's what you need to find, is more of the harmony than the balance. But I think the two definitely go hand in hand. You can't, have one than the other. You can't, have too much harmony at work, or you're starving the harmony at home, I guess. But that was just funny that Bezos put it that way. But I've always heard work-life balance, but he chooses to say work-life harmony. So thought I'd share that.
Yeah, I love that. And that's exactly what I was alluding to with how do we shift this way of thinking? Because I don't like the term either. I think it's a separation and it's more of an integration. And just three tips that I do to create more harmony with the two. It's more around creating these positive daily habits, and was mentioned before. So maybe just like not looking at email first thing in the morning, or stretching, maybe meditating. Another thing that I saw from a influencer on Instagram, which was seems ridiculous, but dance while you're brushing your teeth. They're like little tiny tips or moments that you can integrate into your life that just create happiness and positivity. And it's really kind of just helps in having more of a flow and a harmony on all the things that we need to do, and then setting limits from technology and putting yourself on your to-do list, daily or weekly, whether it's yourself for self-care or an activity with your partner or your kids, and just having it all kind of flow together, I think is really important. So with that, I am going to introduce tonight's grammarian, which is Jimmy.
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am Jimmy Cruz. I'm also the secretary of the Toastmasters Club at Queen City. And I am also going to provide everyone with the word of the day. And I love the theme. And I wanted to also piggyback or echo Cameron's point of the harmony piece that falls in line with that, because the word of the day is going to be steady. As balance, you need to be steady. And I want to give you all just a quick definition on what that means, or to be steadfast, I guess you can say in this case. But it's to be direct and unfaltering, unwavering, always in your purpose, reliable, dependable. So these different types of ways of thinking, as we all want to have a great work-life balance, and we always want to be on par with what's needed, right? As a as a key element to be successful, we just need to really take a look. Maybe it's a calming tone that we need to take place, as you mentioned, Jennifer, with having meditation in play in the morning. So let's use that word, as I'll be looking for it, as I will also be, excuse me, I will also be the grammarian. So my role will be to count all the filler words, as I've used some already. And that will be the words, so, but, things of that nature. So I'm just going to be giving some comments at the end of the meeting on effective and ineffective grammar. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Great. Thanks so much, Jimmy. And I love that word. It really is just fits in so perfectly with the entire theme of what we're talking about tonight. And another quote that I came across that I'll share too, that's in that line is, balance is not something you find, it's something that you create. And so as we think about how do we be more steady and stable and anchored in who we are, and knowing what the things that we need to include in our life that create this harmony, that make us, good humans and happy and not overwhelmed. And going to call on the timer, which is Lon. She should be.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lon again. I am the timers for tonight, and my role is I will time the table topic speakers, the formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will alert each speakers of the time they have left. Since I'm on Zoom, I will use the background. It's acting a little weird right now, but for the table topics, at 1 minute, it'll turn green, just like that. I don't know why it's showing that. Okay, let me try this. Yep, something like that. And then at 1 minute and 30 seconds, it'll turn yellow. And then at 2 minutes, it'll turn red. For table topics, you'll have about 2 minutes to answer the questions. For the formal speeches, it'll be 5 to 7, and I believe we have 2 speakers for tonight. somebody giving their icebreaker, and Vanessa, which is the formal speech. And the last part is the evaluations, which is 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, it'll turn green once again. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it'll turn yellow. And finally, at 3 minutes, it'll turn red. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Great, thank you so much, Lon. And now I will introduce our first speaker of the evening, and he is doing his icebreaker. Adam is going to be doing an icebreaker around going into the nuclear field as part of his strategic relationship pathway. So everyone, round of applause to welcome Adam for his icebreaker. And everybody that gives an icebreaker gets an automatic standing ovation, as David said last week.
And also, we're going to time, the internet's not doing great here, so we're going to time you. So I'll just do like 4, 5, 6. So you'll know.
6 to 8 minutes.
4 to 6.
4 to 6. All right.
Or whatever you want.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster, and greeting Toastmasters and guests. So as Jenny had mentioned, this story, this icebreaker, it's about going into the nuclear field, or as I like to say, elevate your success. So the story takes place in Central Florida, my hometown, Lakeland, Florida. And growing up here, there was this annual air show called the Sun and Fun Air Show. It's the second largest air show in the country. I'm 4 miles from the airport where this air show is taking place. And you didn't really need to know when this air show took place. I would be sitting at home, parents would be making dinner, and all of a sudden, the house would just start shaking violently. You think to yourself, we're in Florida. There should not be an earthquake in Florida. There are no earthquakes in Florida. Instead, it was an F-18 fighter jet 2,000 feet above the house. Fighter jets fly, F-18s, Blue Angels. They fly about Mach 1.8, Mach 2, so double the speed of sound. So as a kid, I'd run out of the house, look, see a Blue Angel, see them whiz by, and then 5-10 seconds would pass, and then you hear them. If you've ever been to an air show, I encourage it. So as a kid, I'd end up going to this air show. The airport, very small, Lakeland Linder Airport, doesn't even have commercial flights. It was just so small, they just really had, but they ended up having this large air show anyway. To commemorate pilots and to commemorate students in the area, they wanted to build a school there. So they ended up building a school to encourage young people to become pilots. They named the school the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. I convinced my parents to let me go there. So I go there, and a few years in, this essay contest comes up, and it's called Elevate Your Life. And it says, all these applicants need to submit an essay on what do they want to be when they grow up? What do they want to do? What's success mean to them? At the time, I didn't really want to be a pilot. To be honest, I was actually afraid of flying. And I wanted to be a nuclear engineer, and I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be an actuary. I basically just didn't want to be broke. So I write this essay where I'm going to combine all of these crazy career paths into one career. And what do? I say, I'm going to go into college, become a nuclear engineer, still have music on the side, work my way up to a nuclear facility, and basically throw a concert to encourage musicians that they can also be engineers, or engineers become musicians. So I end up submitting this essay in. A few weeks go by, I get a call from the school saying, all right, Adam, this essay was pretty good. We want to give you a prize for the essay. At the time, I think it was a $500 scholarship. I go into the school and they said, hey, Adam, we really liked your essay, but aside from just the scholarship, we have Greg Poe with us, and he's going to fly you out on a stunt plane. I go, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. A little nervous again, afraid of flying. And we get into a stunt plane, which is this single engine prop plane, and we take off. And Greg looks back at me and he says, all right, Adam, we're going to start doing some maneuvers. We're going to start doing barrel rolls and back flips and front flips. And just all of a sudden, before I can even respond, we're spinning. And this is also on YouTube, by the way, just to let you know. I didn't want to show it, So as we continue these barrel rolls and back flips, Greg stops and he says, all right, Adam, you just experienced about 4 or 5 Gs. Think of a G-force as basically
mass times acceleration. I can't remember the formula exactly, but essentially you're going faster than the speed of gravity, which is 98 feet per second. So Greg tells me, all right, Adam, we're going to try and pull 7 to 8. The average person can generally passes out at 7 Gs. Greg is famous because he can withstand up to 14 Gs, not pass out, and not have a G suit on. So those F-18s in the beginning I talked about, they typically have G suits, so they're not going to pass out. So I said, okay. So we do another backflip, and I didn't pass out, but it was pretty rough. I stopped Greg as we're cruising, as we're kind of balanced, and I said, why did you like my essay? I mean, this is a radical idea to be a nuclear engineer and a musician. And he goes, well, you wanted to inspire others to better themselves, regardless of where they're at in their life. And that's what I wanted to do as a pilot. And he said, don't give up on your dreams. I said, okay. So I graduate CFAA, go to college, and immediately give up because linear equations is way too hard. When there are more characters than there are numbers, it's not for me. I go into business administration and end up graduating college and work my way. In the last 2 months, I now work on the commercial side of a nuclear engineering firm in Charlotte. And I'm still trying to convince the federal government or the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and the engineering firm I'm at now to throw a concert to encourage engineers to become musicians. So elevate your life and don't give up on your dreams. You'll just find a new pathway to get there. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So in the next, I'm going to be introducing the second speaker, which is Vanessa. And Vanessa is giving a talk entitled How to Be a Mentee. That's part of her introduction to Toastmasters mentoring pathway. So if everybody can welcome Vanessa to give her speech, and it should be between 5 and 7 minutes.
Thank you, Jenny. I used to think that motivation was all about self-confidence and internal goals. I used to think I could motivate myself to achieve excellence by picturing an idealized future self. And I'd imagine myself achieving certain goals and getting to that idealized state that I had imagined. But in recent years, I've started to realize the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people to help you reach that goal. Of course, it's great to have a good friend who gives you a pep talk when you're feeling you need some more steadiness in your life. Maybe you've been hit with a crisis. But another type of help can be proactive self-improvement. One thing that I've started exploring since probably a year ago has been mentorship. And I haven't had the chance to be a mentor to someone else, but I have been a mentee. And this opportunity came up to improve myself, to proactively look at ways that I could become better at my job. I'll have to admit, Toastmasters and guests, that this idea of becoming a mentee was actually quite intimidating at first. I'll give you some background. The mentor that I was randomly assigned to, much like our previous speaker referred to, was in the aviation field and he was an engineer. He actually designed airports. And I was intimidated because someone who designs airports and is an engineer, to me, is a lot smarter than me. I just work in spreadsheets. And I thought, oh no, this mentor is going to come and coach me, but then he's going to figure out all the things I'm doing wrong and he's going to just be constantly critical of me. So I was nervous to start on this journey of being a mentee. But I am so glad that I took the leap because I learned lots of good advice, not just the kind of advice that floats into one ear and floats out the other ear a few seconds later, but practical advice that I could actually apply. I wanted to share just a couple insights I gained tonight that helped me tremendously. The first one was realizing that I was too detail oriented. I always thought that was a good thing to double check, triple check, quadruple check my spreadsheets. But my mentor helped me realize that the client didn't mind how many times I checked. The client just wanted an answer to a question. It was as if the client wanted a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but I was spending all my time exploring the rainbow and analyzing the rainbow instead of focusing on how to get to that pot of gold that the client cared about. And I was so grateful he brought this up because it led me to find ways to simplify my work. Instead of spending all my time lost in the weeds, I caught myself doing that, and I would take a step back and say, wait a minute, how does this relate to our end goal? And I found I was becoming more efficient. I wasn't spending as much time agonizing over all the minute details of my project work. Another thing I had to learn from my mentor was how to effectively communicate to clients who maybe don't know all the technical expertise that I've been exposed to. And again, this was of interest to me because who doesn't want to become a better communicator? And that's, of course, why we are all here at Toastmasters. And the way he put it was so interesting. He said, you've got to pretend that you are giving this talk to your grandmother. And I thought, wait a minute, that's strange. But then I realized that the point wasn't so much to simplify to the point of insulting anyone's intelligence, but the point was rather to cut to the main points and to organize your thoughts more clearly. I started to realize that I tended to ramble when I would start talking about my projects. I would jump straight into the details of what I had been working on as the technical person, but the people who weren't also technical people, most of the time, they didn't really know where I was coming from, and they got lost as I was trying to explain things to them. So with this talking to the grandmother approach, I decided to approach my client calls similarly to how I might lay out a 5-paragraph essay. I decided to start with an introduction, move on to maybe 2 or 3 main points, and finally end with a conclusion to wrap everything up neatly. When I started to think in this way of laying out my arguments that way, I felt a lot more confident every single time I picked up that phone to answer a client call because I knew how to explain myself. And of course, I have to say Toastmasters was an important part of how I was able to have this confidence, because there's a world of difference between someone telling you to do something and me actually doing it. And Toastmasters gave me more confidence to actually execute my mentor's advice. And that brings me to my concluding point, which is that mentorship is a great thing, but the most important thing about it is the way you actually use a person's advice. You actually have to put that advice into practical use, and you have to use the advice to solve problems that you are having. And I was challenged during this time to not just listen, but actually apply. And it's hard to explain all the thought process I had to go through to get to that point of applying consistently. But I will say that mentorship helped me on that first step of the journey, which was realizing what I needed to do. And then it was up to me, of course, to do it. And of course, a lot of credit goes to Toastmasters for giving me that confidence to apply this good advice. So I would say if anyone's thinking about doing a mentorship program, whether at work or even at Toastmasters, I would encourage you to jump in and do it. And don't be too intimidated, even if your mentor is an aeronautical engineer. And I will turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Great. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I love that story. And even in your story, I think the theme of balance kind of plays into that, right? Because we're always faced with projects and things that we have so much information to share, and it's around balancing what's truly important from the client perspective versus what we, are just kind of going on autopilot of how we normally do things. So I think that it kind of plays into what everybody is communicating today in their talk. So thank you for sharing. At this point, I'm going to call Jamie to go through the table topics. Jamie?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Did you unmute? You did unmute, right? Okay. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Yes, I will be facilitating our table topics session today. So as a reminder, table topics are an opportunity for members or for guests to practice their impromptu speaking. So basically, I'll ask some questions. They'll be based on today's theme of balance. And then each speaker will have 1 to 2 minutes to provide a response. And then at the end, I'll ask for a timer's report. So do I have a bold volunteer from either our in-person audience or on Zoom?
I'll volunteer.
All right, come on up, Amit. And I'll get folks on Zoom soon. I'll ask the question and then I'll hand you the mic.
Oh, I'll get the question first.
Nope. All right, so your first question is, can someone achieve greatness and still have balance? Or does excelling at something require sacrificing balance?
So when I first think about balance and achievement, I think we originally think about them as one or the other, right? We often think that we have to achieve and give up balance. When I first started my working career, I would put in many, many hours. I put 50, 60 hours and go above and beyond in one area of my life, which is my work. But then I would give up on my other parts of my life, such as like my health or working out. And I would find myself to be groggy at work, giving less attention, getting frustrated. And I realized that in order to have a good balance, you need to make sure that you have a holistic life. So whether that be financial, work, health, or any other area that you prioritize, like spiritual or meditation. And if in doing that, I believe that you can really have a good balance and achieve more in that particular area that you want to achieve in. So I don't believe that if you sacrifice in other areas of your life, you'll have more achievement in another.
Great response, a confident response, which I loved, right? Someone who's figured some of this stuff out, which is fantastic, right? You've managed to embrace the work-life balance message that Jenny shared, and that's added to a steady life. All right, do I have another volunteer? Yes, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Okay, Jasmine is joining us here in person. Then I'll go to Zoom after that. Or Jazz. Okay, fantastic. Well, I hope I don't disappoint you then. All right. What is something that as you grew older became more important to you to make space for, to balance in your life?
Thank you. Sleep. I, much like the gentleman before me, thought sacrificing sleep would constantly yield better results. I was definitely the late at night college student who could still get an A, so that spoiled me a little bit. But I also majored in something very much easy, kind of my interest. It was history. I like history. Don't know what I'm going to do with that degree, but I'll worry about that later when I graduate. I sacrificed sleep, and I didn't understand the frustrations and like I can go hard, but then I burn out. And the 8-hour workday was killing me, but I still had to come home and take care of a family and do other things. And I was like, well, if this is how my life is set up, I don't have an 8-hour workday. I have maybe a 10 or 11. Add in, I was a part of a Toastmasters club before, an officer. I had to add in that. I needed to learn how to get the energy to get during the day. And honestly, it was going to bed. Sometimes saying, hey, I got to stop this. I'll pick it up on Saturday, or I'll sacrifice something on a Sunday while I'm watching TV or listening to someone talk, but I have to sleep. And once I started sleeping more, watching my hours, at least getting 6.5, 7, but that's pushing it. I won't do 6.5, 7, 3 days in a row. I know my temperament. And so we let the kids take naps in kindergarten because of their emotions. I am all for naps for adults. So prioritize sleep.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. Great comments. I too have succumbed to having to sleep more in old age. And I find that reading helps because it puts me to sleep immediately. All right, let's find some folks on Zoom who would like to participate. Andrea, I see you. All right, thank you. All right, your question: who is someone you admire for achieving balance in their life? And what did you learn from them in terms of how they accomplished that?
That is a good question. Someone who I would say my pastor that I grew up with. He taught us how to be to be a servant leader and to be an employee and to be a father. And he still put in that time for himself. And that's what he taught us when we went through ministry. We were taught to take care of our whole body, because when, like our other two people said, when you don't take care of your whole person, something gets lacking, and either your health or your relationships dwindle because you haven't paid attention to it. So that's what, that's the person I would say that taught me the most. First God, then family, you know, so on and so forth, and make sure that you put yourself in it.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. All right, Jenny, what do you think? Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay, we've got one more here in person. Cameron. All right, Cameron, your question is, we always talk about work-life balance. We talk about work-life balance a lot today, but can you give an example of something else in your life that presents competing priorities for you and how you approach balancing that?
Well, I appreciate Jasmine's answer because she said sleep, and I have a 3-month-old, so finding sleep is, yeah, she's shaking her head. She already knows. Finding sleep's hard to come by, but for me, I think somebody mentioned working out. So, you know, I've tried to come into more of a routine, and I think that's kind of what we have to challenge ourselves to do. So for me, on Mondays, I go to work, try to get there at 7:30. I get off at 5:30. I go to the gym, and normally that's chest and tricep day. So yesterday was a good bench press of 400 pounds, 100 pounds 4 times. And Tuesdays are my Toastmasters days if I'm able to work it in, or throw in some cardio of some sort. Wednesdays, try to do some biceps, and Wednesdays I can throw some back and biceps, and Thursdays might throw some legs in there, and then one of those days I got to throw some golf in there. If it's nothing else, it's a driving range, just getting out and going and get some sunshine, hitting a bucket of balls, and having an IPA just to myself, no wife, no kid, no nothing, just serenity. So that's where I've been trying to find more balance. And I think it starts with routine, maybe. So find the routine that works for you, and I think the balance will come.
All right, thank you to all of our speakers for the table topic session. Now I'd like to ask Lon for a timers report.
So for the formal speeches, Adam, he came in at 5 minutes and 33 seconds. He qualifies. And Vanessa, she came in at 6 minutes and 51 seconds. She also qualifies. And for our table topic speakers, the first person, which I did not get your name, I do apologize for that. He came in at 1 minute and 12 seconds, qualifies for that as well. Jasmine came in at 1 minute and 37 seconds. Andrea, 53 seconds. And Cameron, 1 minute and 18 seconds. So everybody qualified. Back to you.
Congratulations, everybody. Okay, thank you very much. And now I'll turn it back to Madam Toastmaster.
Great. Thank you so much, Jamie. And I love all of the questions, very in line with tonight's theme of balance. And those were all great responses too. So thank you for everybody that participated. I thought it was funny when Cameron said that no wife and kids equals serenity. So that was kind of funny. At this point, I'm going to call Elvis, which is our general evaluator for the evening.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Tonight, I have the pleasure to be the general evaluator. As the general evaluator, I will be introducing the evaluators for the individual prepared speeches. I will also be providing a general evaluation of the meeting as a whole, and at the end, we'll be calling for the Grammarian report. So without further ado, let's call our first evaluator, who is going to be Stuart Bryson, and he is going to evaluate the first speaker, Adam Mathis. So let's welcome Stuart Bryson.
Thank you, Elvis. So today I'm going to be evaluating Adam's Icebreaker. I have to say he immediately appeared super comfortable, appeared to use zero filler words, had no hesitation, and spoke with a lot of confidence throughout. It was a superb icebreaker. I was secretly hoping that it wouldn't be quite as good and he'd give me a little bit more to talk about. So this is going to be a very difficult evaluation. Thank you for that. I thought you structured the speech very well. The introduction you gave was the right degree of background. It's always a difficult balance to strike between bogging people down in details and giving them enough context that they understand the story. I thought you did that perfectly. The content of the story was really good. Really enjoyed hearing about your experience in the stunt plane. I think everybody was interested to hear about that and your conversation with the pilot. I thought that it was interesting to hear about your essay, the way that you combined your different your desired careers. It kind of gave us a glimpse into your personality and showed us that you're quite a creative person. I thought the ending was good too. Your joke was very funny, a good way to end it. And would probably have liked to hear a little bit more about how you ended up in the nuclear field. You know, you go into college and realizing that you didn't want to deal with that level of math was very relatable, but it would have been good to figure out how you got from there to where you are now. But I thought you included some very good numbers. You know, you talked about the speed of gravity, which I didn't know was 94 feet per second. So I thought that was, again, another point that injected a little bit of personality into your speech. If I was to be hypercritical, I would say maybe project a little more when you speak. I don't know if that's just me. I have very poor hearing and I sat at the back of the room. Probably to everyone else it sounded fine. That was really the only thing that I noticed. Some of the jokes that you had in your speech were subtle and they were very good. Your delivery was quite flat sometimes, and maybe that's just how you typically speak, because I do the same thing. And maybe for some people it needed a little bit more emphasis placed on those points of the sentence. But overall, fantastic icebreaker. Very good. Great job overall. Well done. And I'll now pass it back to Elvis.
Thank you, Stuart. Very thoughtful evaluation with a lot of tips and points for improvement. That's all we're looking for in all the evaluations. Look at the good things, but also at the points for improvement, which is what makes us all grow as part of our path here in our journey to become better speakers. Now, our second evaluator will be evaluating our second speaker of the night, Vanessa Waller, and is none other than Cameron Hembrick. Please welcome our second evaluator of the night.
Thank you, Elvis. Like Stuart, I have a very hard/easy job because Vanessa did such a great job, as she always does. For those of you who don't know, Vanessa's been a former president of this club due to her steadfastness of her Toastmasters journey. So the more notes I took, the more impressed I was with what Vanessa had to offer, how to be a mentee. She started out with saying, surround yourself with the correct people, right? Isn't that why we're all here? We're surrounding ourselves with people like us and have similar or the same goals so that we can, achieve our goals. Or my grandmama used to say, if you lay with dogs, you'll wake up with fleas. So That's the negative side of it. One of my heroes, Dave Ramsey, says, if you want to be something, surround yourself with people who already do that. If you want to be something, surround yourself with people who already do it. So I thought that was a great opening, Vanessa. So thanks for sharing that with us. She said that she was intimidated by her mentor at first. It was an aviation engineer, I believe. I don't know, Vanessa, if this was what you were trying to do, but to me, I think, that's great, because Vanessa admits her vulnerability. You know, she lets her guard down so that the audience can better relate. So I thought that, I don't know if that's what you were trying to do, but that's what I got from it. You're saying how intimidating and how scared, nervous you were from your mentor. And I thought that was great. Like I said, whether you were trying to do that or not, it helped lower your guard so that people could relate to you. So I like that. Then she got into her insights. And one of the insights that she shared that was given to her by her mentor was that she realized she was too detail oriented and realizing how to work with clients, and the metaphor of the pot of gold, where she's trying to analyze the rainbow, how long, how tall it is, the colors, and how it looks and smells and all this, when she was losing focus of what the end goal was. So her mentor helped her achieve that goal. And how to effectively communicate to clients who may not be as much of an expert. I deal with this a lot in my job. I too, KC, am engineering sales. So, you know, we get wrapped up in the technical side of things, and we forget, you know, how to boil it down and relay that information to somebody else. And that's kind of the goal we're all here to do, right? It's not what you know, it's how you relate it to somebody else. So I thought that was very insightful. So in the end, she says that she works on organizing, and that from then on, she's going to focus on delivering her message in 3 ways. She's going to give the introduction, then she's going to give a few key points, and then she's going to give a conclusion. And as I'm writing that down, I realized that's what she did in this speech. She did that very thing that she preached. She started out with the introduction saying, hey, this is what I was. I was a mentee. I had a mentor. And then she rolled into her insights. And then she finishes with her conclusion saying mentorship is great, but what's really great is how you apply it, is applying the advice that you get. And then if that wasn't enough, she puts a cherry on top by my favorite, a call to action, saying, you know, giving encouragement on a mentorship program. And if you're going to do it, here's how you do it. So I thought it was great, Vanessa. As always, you do a fantastic job. If there's one thing I could possibly say to try, it's not even a negative, it's just something to try, is maybe explore your vocal variety. You know, give some highs, give some lows, feel free to shout, whatever. So I would, that'd be the only thing I could say, is explore your vocal variety. But really, really fantastic job. Thanks for sharing. Back to you, Elvis.
Thank you, Cameron. Another great evaluation. Very good positive points and points of improvement. And now I would like to call our grammarian for our grammarian report. So take it away, Jimmy.
Thank you, Elvis. I just wanted to start off by saying everyone did a phenomenal job, and no one really wants to do the grammarian's job, and such great content was being displayed today. So I will give a quick rundown of everybody's maybe just improper grammar. I mean, I try to follow along a lot of the verbiage that was taking place to make sure I was rating it correctly. So just please be mindful of some of the grades that I put there. Overall, again, great, awesome job. So I just want to start off with Jennifer. We just got a couple of ums and then one so out of everything that you ran through the entire meeting. So that's awesome. It wasn't anything else that I was able to catch. You did use the word steady, which is the word of the day. Adam, on your speech, again, phenomenal job. Don't take this negatively at all. I mean, you had a lot of content that was displayed in a short time frame as an icebreaker. So kudos to you on that. You had an very well with the storyline. It wasn't even a problem, only because I'm doing this particular role. Vanessa, for you, outstanding. The only thing that I saw was "and" being used improperly just one time. That was all I caught. And that wasn't even something that was really something to look at. And then you also did a phenomenal job using the word "today." Jamie, on yours, you used 3 times. That was all I've seen for everything that you had going on today. Speaker number 1, I didn't get the name either, but you had 3 times and 1 so. Jasmine did a great job. I didn't catch anything there for any filler words. Andrea had 1 1 so, and 1 you know. Cameron spoke twice. Had "so" was used twice, was used 3 times, was used once, you know was used 4 times, and then was twice, and then 1 and. But again, I know yours had a lot of flavor to it, so I used that based on the content that you was actually explaining the different roles from the evaluator, and then also as you were speaking earlier. Lon did a great job. Oh, I'm sorry, and Cameron used the word "today," so that's phenomenal. Lon, only 1 so and 1 and. Elvis, only 1 so. Stewart had 1 so, 1 and 2 ums. Great job, everybody. I'm glad I'm on this end of the spectrum. Job. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Very, very detailed grammarian report. Great job. And now I will go ahead and offer a general evaluation of the meeting as a whole. I will start with the organization of the meeting. I think despite having some technical issues at the beginning, I think it was an amazing meeting. And I didn't feel the glitch at all. Probably a few seconds, but it was the people that are on site. We have a great participation today, and starting with the introduction of the members and guests, that's something that we did really very well. I like the theme overall, and that will be a kudos to our Toastmaster of the night, who is challenging herself one more time, being a Toastmaster, and is one of the newest members, and she is on a roll, taking roles and challenging herself and all of us to continue doing more. So kudos to you, Jennifer, for a wonderful job tonight. I will continue with our grammarian, which I just mentioned briefly. Jimmy, you had a very good introduction of the role at the beginning, but also gave a very, very detailed report at the end. I would also give a kudos to our timer, Lan, who also gave a role and also did a good job at keeping the time in and showing your background on the different calls, which was very helpful for everybody. Kudos to the speakers. We had wonderful speakers. It is hard to believe that Adam was giving his icebreaker tonight. He was actually very, very, flawless, giving a flawless speech. It showed that you have a great potential. You're a natural, and keep up what you're doing. You're going on the right path. The evaluators, great job on both evaluators, Stuart and Cameron. Same thing for Stuart giving his first evaluator or evaluation speech tonight. Did a great job. And also Cameron offered a great evaluation. Our table topics master, Jamie, great job. Very, very, very good questions, and an excellent job from all of the guests and the members who participated in the table topics. To me, those were easy and hard questions at the same time, but the participation of the answers from everybody was actually very thoughtful responses, and also with a very good flow and very good and very well done for everybody. Now, in order to offer a couple of things, couple of points that we can maybe improve, I would say we missed there was one time on the table topics where the question was given to the last participant without being with the microphone. So the people at the, for us that are online, we didn't hear the question. So that's something that maybe to take into consideration. Go back, pick up the microphone maybe, or get closer so that we all can hear the question, or maybe repeat the question for whoever has the microphone at that time. And the other thing is Stuart, who was also in some cases asking the question, he was outside of the view of, like, for example, where Davey is standing now, but he was actually out of the center, so we couldn't see him when he was asking the question. So those little things to take into consideration. Overall, we had a great meeting. I think we marched steadily towards the end of it. And with that, I will conclude my evaluation and pass the control back to our Toastmaster, Jennifer.
Great, thank you so much, Elvis, and the evaluators. At this point, I'd like to call Lon back for a timer's report on the evaluations.
So Stuart came in at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. He qualifies, and Cameron at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So both of them qualify.
Great. Thank you, Lon. And yep, is there, I guess he communicate with, oh, there you are. I guess you'll do that part. But I do have one final thought as we wrap up the meeting. Well, one, I loved this meeting. I love the theme. I thought everybody, it continues to amaze me how everybody's just the level of engagement and just cohesiveness when there is a theme. My last thing as we think about creating work-life harmony, which I'll steal from Cameron or Jeff Bezos, and it's around balance is not something you find, it's something that you create. And so if we can all challenge ourselves to think about what that might look like for us, and even just think about if it's a habit or whatever, and even this week, just implement something different, something new, or just a small shift of how we're gonna be able to create a more fulfilling life by having more work-life harmony. And I will pass it back over to David.
Thank you, Jenny. You did a great job. I appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead and do the award ceremony. And it's going to be, as usual, a little unusual or different than we usually do. But obviously, we're going to start with our icebreaker. Adam did a great job. Adam, he's going to get the Icebreaker Award. You sounded natural, so very good. And then with that, we're going to give our best speaker to Vanessa, who did a great job, and she was very humorous, and I enjoyed hearing her speech. Great. Now, I think Lon said that Cameron came in at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Is that what you said? Which, yeah, he wouldn't qualify. He didn't qualify for it, which makes Stuart our evaluator of the night. And I know we have some guests, and actually you're probably wondering where Stuart's from. He's actually from Jamaica. That's the accent. So Stuart, you are best evaluator. Congratulations. I believe it's Scotland. I think it's Scotland. Yeah. And then we're gonna have a little fun with the table topics. First, I'm gonna give one to Andrea, who is our online Zoom table topics person. So congratulations to Andrea. And then we're gonna give one to Cameron, who is our member in person, but also just so he can show his wife he actually came here tonight, I think is the main thing. And then we had two guests. I'd like to have them come up. Jasmine, do you want to come up and get best table topics participation? And then if you could, you didn't get to introduce yourself at the beginning of the meeting. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself. And I think you said you were in Toastmasters. So if you could just give us a quick introduction.
Hi. Oh, I want to make sure I stand in front of the camera this time. I am Jasmine Woodson. I've been in this area for about almost a year now. My family is actually from here, but I was in Toastmasters in Columbia. It was a storytelling club. So I loved it. I walked in, got right started, was introduced by a friend, and Did I compete? I think I competed in Evaluator. I love evaluations and I love table topics. Looking for my balance or creating my balance, I Googled this. I was in Asheville, just looked at nature and I was like, okay, that's one thing. But for me, balance is very motion. Like I can't just have one. So I found Toastmasters, saw you guys online and decided to just come in for a different club. I got the storytelling down. Now I'm looking for something a little bit different. And from the speeches I heard today, I ended up in the right spot. So thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for doing it. Table topics. And the name everybody was missing, I believe, was Amit. Is that how you pronounce it? Amit, if you want to come up, he was our guest also who did a table topics. And real quick, if you want to come around, just tell us what you thought about the meeting, any feedback for us.
Yeah. So my name's Amit. I moved here about like 6 months ago from Texas, so Fort Worth, Texas, which I've been moving around a lot for like the last 5 years. So I've been participating in Toastmasters a little bit here and there, depending on what company I moved to. And also Dale Carnegie a little bit as well too. So really enjoyed the meeting. I thought it was really well run. I like the fact that we have someone to keep time, because I'm always in meetings and you always look at your clock and you're like, oh man, it's almost time. So love the fact that there is timekeeping, a lot of good structure to the meeting itself. It seems like everyone has really great feedback for individuals who are speaking. So really enjoyed the meeting. Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And then real quick, I'm going to go back to our other guests and kind of get some feedback from them real quick to see same as him, what you thought about the meeting, Casey, and any thoughts you have about it.
Yeah. So personally, I just really enjoyed the structure of it. I like how it kind of follows a format that you would see in the workforce as well. I could really see how, even though we're talking about ourselves, we're talking about stories about ourselves. You could use, that confidence of what you're saying because it's something that you lived through, and you could bring that into a meeting, and you'll be more confident about what you're saying when you get into the office that Monday and that Tuesday. So I really feel like this is an opportunity where you could talk about something you're much more comfortable talking about with people who are here to help you and get better. And then once you get into the office on Monday, you're just ready to rock and roll. And, that's the goal. That's what I want to see. And that's what I hope to get from joining this club, joining this fraternity, this Toastmasters. I'm not sure what you like to call it.
Yeah, thank you. So again, I was on your Zoom call last week and I really, really enjoyed it. I felt that coming in person was the natural extension of that. And both times I have to say I'm walking away with two things. This is a group with a lot of quality and with a lot of depth. And my expectation of Toastmasters was more just, okay, we're going to go practice speaking, listen to people speaking, evaluate speakers. But just some of the concepts even tonight about work-life balance and being a good mentor, I feel like I'm leaving here like I did last time with a lot more to think about than just, learning how to speak in front of other people. So thank you all for doing that as well.
Thank you, Eric. This is Connor, first time, and really enjoyed hearing from everybody and the structure, evaluations from the 1-minute topic questions, and hearing about the menteeship that I'm going through that right now. So that really spoke to me personally. And I look forward to joining in more meetings and taking part in some of the activities. Thanks, Dave.
Just a quick reminder to all of our members' dues are due at the end of the month. So, did you? Perfect. All right. And I believe that's all I have. Next week, he's going to jump into the pool. Jamie is going to be our Toastmaster. Okay, yeah, still okay. He mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, so I just kind of volunteered him, but he'll be our Toastmaster next week. So we have Jamie to start us off. And do we have any officer announcements? Vanessa, you did great. Vanessa is our immediate past president. She gave a speech. She kind of got us through the COVID time, and well, we're still in COVID time, but she was during the beginning of it, though. Any feedback or anything from our officers?
I just wanted to reiterate that, just real quick, everybody to look at when they're finishing their projects to update their pathway. And that way we can submit the completion of each one of the projects and each one of the levels. I've seen some people that have completed already, but they haven't updated it, and that doesn't actually give them the credits. So if you need any help with that, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to help.
And I forgot, James is here as a guest also. And James, did you say you're with one of the internet companies or?
With Windstream? Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you all start?
Actually
your
was
yet, or is that what you're
no,
looking
we
to do?
haven't. We haven't yet. I was a past member. I used to work for Cox Communications in Arizona. I was part of the Cox Communicators, and yeah, I'm just excited to delve back in Toastmasters. So we haven't. I don't know if we're going to join a group or start our own. So yeah, we haven't decided as to what we're going to do quite yet.
Okay, well, I don't know if you've been in touch with Toastmasters, but I'm an area director, and you can reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with the right people that can help you set up a Toastmasters within Windstream.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
All right, and with that, I will call the meeting to an end. We went a little bit longer, but we had a lot of great guests, and Jennifer did great, and everybody's frozen, so they're just looking at me really funny, but have a good night. There you are. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Have a good one. See you next week.
That was good.
Yeah, good job, everyone.
I put my name in the hat for next week. I was gonna try to
saw that.
Yeah, I was gonna try to do it this week. Oddly enough, we had a situation with COVID. It was COVID in close contact. So my visitation to Atlanta was canceled. And then also I was supposed to be in Pennsylvania this week, so that got canceled too. So yeah, So yeah, next week I gotta go to Florida. So I'll be in Florida on Sunday. So I'll try to make sure that I set time aside to do this. I'll probably be in a hotel room somewhere. So hopefully I don't have to take anybody out to dinner or something like that. But if that comes up, I'll give you a call on. I'll give you a shout on either Monday, because I'm gonna ask some questions to. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale area.
Okay. Yeah. Just let me know if anything changes or if you need any assistance or any help.
Okay.
But yeah, I hear you. I've been there.
Yeah.
Some time ago.
It's nonstop.
Well,
Every time I turn around, man, it's insane.
Just take it easy and enjoy the moment.
Balance.
Just exactly.
I'm trying to catch the balance on this side. The moment I think I'm good, something tips on the scale and I'm off tilt. I'm off tilt.
Right. All right. Well, it's good seeing you.
Yes, sir.
Take it
Same
easy.
here. Yep. And I have it pretty much ironed out on what I'm gonna do. I guess now I think I might be putting too much thought into it. I wrote it out.
Yeah.
I practiced.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
I think that's what I'm doing.
Just start it and things will just flow. Yeah, you'll see. It's
Okay.
I mean, you're a natural too.
I appreciate
I've seen you. Yeah, you're a natural. You don't need much. I'm
Yeah,
sure
just
that you just have to start and it will just flow.
Right. Yeah, because I've seen some of the speeches that you've done. I've seen some speeches that David has done, and then he was just like, "Oh yeah, well, I just did it just today," and I can see how you guys have the thought process. So that's why I was like, I think I'm just overthinking it. Work just every day, and then by the time like 6:15 comes around so quickly, and I'm just like scatterbrained by the time I'm done because I have calls all the way up until like every day, from 8 until whenever. So
I hear you.
yeah. So yeah, I gotta run now. I gotta put together a project for this discussion tomorrow for this customer. So I appreciate what y'all do. Y'all take care and just let me know whatever I need to do, and I'll be sending in the payment soon. I got the invoice from Toastmasters.
Yeah, we'll. All right. Well, good luck with that, and just let me know if there's anything I can help with.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
I appreciate you as
Take care.
always, Elvis. You take care, man. All right, thanks now.